Good afternoon, everyone, on this historic Wednesday, July 26, 2023. This is Faded Black Breaking News. All of the news that you need. I'm Jimmy Church. Crazy day today, and I want you to help support the news in our show. Get your Faded Black T-shirts. You can get the links below. You can get them one of two ways. Help support our team here. All right, let's get straight to it. It was a crazy day, and it's a busy day. I am doing 5 shows. I've done one already. This is my second one. Right after this, I'll be on with Christina Gomez. We will be doing our weekly review of Skinwalker Ranch. Then I'm over on Sheena Metal's show this afternoon. That'll be at 3 p.m. Pacific time. And then tonight, fade to black. So busy day around here. Let's get to the news. On this day in history, 1947, and it is ironic. President Harry S. Truman signs the National Security Act, which creates the CIA. The CIA and the Department of Defense and the Air Force and the National Security Council, also known as the NSC, on this day in 1947. Next year, on this day in history, it's going to be today. That's what I will announce. Fate or fact, the color orange was actually named after oranges. Before oranges arrived in England in the late 15th century, there was no word for the color. And that's amazing. It's even more amazing to think that England didn't have oranges before the 15th century. All right, let's get to the breaking news. It was just announced before showtime. Rest in peace, Sinead O'Connor. She died today at the age of 56. No causes were given. It was just an announcement from her family, 56 years old. Wow. All right. The historic House Oversight UFO hearing happened earlier today. Yes, it did convene, calling 3 witnesses, Ryan Graves, David Grush, and David Fravor. Of course, Graves and Fravor, both pilots. David Grush, he comes from the intelligence community. He was also in the Air Force, too, as well. Graves and Fravor both testified about their own sightings of UAPs, otherwise known as UFOs, while they were serving in the military. David Grush, a former Air Force intelligence officer, said that the government has covered up its research into the unidentified sightings and said he reported information to the Intelligence Community Inspector General. Grush also claimed that the United States government not only has ET spacecraft in its possession, but also the remains of non-human pilots. That's his words. I'll put that in air quotes. However, when he was pressed later, he made it clear that this is what he was told by others, and that he didn't have first information about alien bodies. Grush then told the House that he could provide a list of cooperative and hostile witnesses who could provide Congress with more information about the programs. Representative Matt Gaetz said that he sought information about an incident he was told about from Eglin Air Force Base in Florida. Gaetz said that he went to Eglin. He was denied access. I think he was there with Tim Burchett and Anna Paulina Luna. But then he was eventually shown an image of the craft, of which he said, and I'm quoting here, "I'm not able to attach any human capability either from the United States or from any of our adversaries." It was a crazy day. We heard from Representative Grothman, who was the head of the committee. Of course, we heard from Tim Burchett, Anna Paulina Luna, and Matt Gaetz, who actually headed up the entire hearing. We also heard from Representatives Garcia, Moskowitz, Raskin, AOC, Fox, Frost. Comer passed on his 5 minutes and gave it back to Tim Burchett. We heard from Representatives Biggs, Mace, who had some pretty direct questions too as well, Burleson and Langworthy. And I think that we can sum up one thing. I heard the words disclosure and UFO today so many times, and that this is what everybody is pushing for. It was an incredible day. It was much more than I expected, but those are my opinions. I am just here to report the news. There'll be lots more of follow-up, not only within our community, of course, but in the national media. So let's move on. Arizona's saguaro cacti, a symbol of the U.S. West, are leaning, losing arms, and in some cases falling over during the state's record streak of extreme heat. It was announced yesterday. Summer monsoon rains the cacti rely on have failed to arrive, testing the desert giant's ability to survive in the wild as well as in cities as temperatures are now above 110 degrees. NASA's Mission Control in Houston briefly lost power yesterday and needed a backup to communicate with astronauts on the International Space Station. The Expedition 69 crew on the International Space Station was never in any danger, according to NASA officials, which they announced yesterday during a press conference about SpaceX's upcoming Crew 7 astronaut mission to the ISS. The outage lasted for about 90 minutes between 9 a.m. Eastern Time and 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, or about 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. local time at NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston. A SpaceX Starlink launch on July 19th, 2023, punched a hole in the ionosphere. While this is nothing new in the space age, the red glow created in the aftermath drew the attention of astrophotographers. The SpaceX Starlink launch left Vandenberg Space Force Base in California at about 9:09 p.m. Pacific time on July 19th, and the rocket plume at launch made for quite a sight as it lit up a portion of the darkening sky. Shortly after the rocket disappeared, though, the red glowing blob in the ionosphere appeared. You should see the images. Well, the cause of death for actor Julian Sands, who went missing in the mountains right here in Southern California back in January and was later found dead, has been cited as undetermined. And I'm quoting here directly, the cause is undetermined due to the condition of the body and because no other factors were discovered during the coroner's investigation. This is common when dealing with cases of this type. This is the final determination, according to the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Coroner Department. Last month, human remains found in the San Gabriel Mountains were determined to be those of Julian. He was just 65 years old. And finally, I'll leave you with this. Rats in New York City. Rat complaints in New York City's 311 line are down 20% over the last month and a half, according to Mayor Eric Adams and his anti-rat crusaders. They revealed everything yesterday. The reduction in calls to the helpline is being measured by comparing rat complaints from this May to mid-July with calls from the same time frame last year. Adams, Sanitation Commissioner Jessica Tisch, and Citywide Rodent Mitigation Director Kathleen Karate, who is also known as the Rat Czar, also said that calls on rat sightings to 311 from the city's 4 so-called rat mitigation zones dipped by more than 45% on average within the same time frame. There you go. That's all the Fade to Black breaking news that you need for this historic Wednesday, July 26th, 2023. Fade to Black breaking news is produced by Renee Newman. I'm Jimmy Church. Go Backley Tappy.